Good afternoon, welcome to the Midday Mull for Thursday the 15th of October. We continue to look at Ezekiel chapter 47. There was a vision that Ezekiel had of a trickle flowing from the altar of God, which became eventually a river that no one could cross. And this vision of God's blessing flowing into the world. And just some of the details of that blessing in verse 8, he says, "This water flows toward the eastern region and goes down into the Arabah, where it enters the Dead Sea. When it empties into the sea, the salty waters there become fresh. Swarms of living creatures will live wherever the river flows." And this image of this blessing of God flowing through parched landscape into a salty, lifeless sea and just transforming it, and suddenly it becomes full of life. But it also says that not everything becomes fresh water, because you still need salt, so there will still be some salty places where you can get salt from. And it says a bit later, verse 12, "Fruit trees of all kinds will grow on both banks of the river. Their leaves will not wither, nor will their fruit fail. Every month they will bear fruit, because the water from the sanctuary flows to them. And their fruit will serve for food, and their leaves for healing." And this notion of this blessing, of this healing, of this provision from God. And very often our lives may seem a little bleak, and sometimes we will feel that we've lost it and we're struggling and we're not coping. We look around the world and we see a world that is for all its glamour and glitz, it is fairly empty, and there's this great hunger amongst people. And we look at the church, and so often we think the church needs something more. And what God is saying is this water that flows from His presence symbolized by the temple, this blessing from God will change everything. And so I pray that we will experience it, that we will see God's presence flowing through our lives, through the church, through this society, and that as it flows, it'll bring life where there is no life. It'll bring food where there's a hunger. It'll bring healing where there's hurt. And that this will change not only us, but it will change us, and through us will change the world. That's what God is about change. And so I pray that you'll experience this river flowing in your life, and you will be blessed, and you will be a blessing in turn. Amen.